The NBA playoffs has yet to disappoint. We have been treated to game after game after game of amazing basketball, and I have absolutely loved it. In this video, we're going to be covering the best playoff risers and the fallers of the NBA playoffs, and that's the players who have performed the best in the NBA playoffs and the players who have performed the worst in accordance with my expectations. And first, we're going to be starting off with a number of the Placer players. These guys have been balling out fresh off the New York Pacers game, which absolutely blew me away. One of the best games that we've seen, and I think this is going to be one of the best playoff series we've seen in modern times. The Pacers deserve a bunch of credit. Three players I want to call out from their squad, starting off with their captain, their leader, Tyrese Halliburton. It may not show up in the stats per se, in the box score, but what he's doing in terms of leading his team, facilitating, putting players in position to win has been absolutely incredible. Plus, his shot making, his 3-point shooting has been very, very impressive in clutch moments against the Cavs, against the Bucks, and now against the Knicks. He's pulling up with important shots, important shot making, inside and outside. It's really impressive, to be honest with you. And I know the Pacers would not be where they are without him. That is an absolute testament to the leader he has become, to the player that he's become. He's someone that I've known for a very, very long time. Watching him come up in the draft process, it was clear that he was going to be one of the safest picks that we've seen in NBA history, I would say. But it was always a question of what's his ceiling? How far can he go? And that was a question that I think a lot of people had, questions about. Sacramento had questions about it, and that's why they traded him away. Absolutely a big mistake. He is a leader. He is the traditional point guard that the NBA has probably been craving for in such a long time. I think with Chris Paul, heading towards retirement, Tyrese Halliburton seems like the most natural point guard that the NBA has got, and he's shone in this playoffs and he's continuing to shine. And it's very interesting to see him go up against another world-class point guard, which we'll talk about in the near future. Another one I also talk about was Andrew Nemhart. He's obviously in the backcourt with Tyrese Halliburton, and again, he has been so impressive. From three, he's been impressive. He's come up with a number of clutch shots. He is not only able to take on a lot of the scoring load from that guard position, but he's also able to take on a lot of the playmaking as well. And that's a testament to how he's grown as a player. I'm very, very impressed with how he has stamped his authority on these playoffs. He's been very, very good. And the Pacers have a great guard rotation with him, McConnell, and Tyrese Halliburton. They have those guard positions really locked up. Very, very well done from them. And Nemhart has definitely put his stamp as someone who should not be looked at as an afterthought. He started that work off in the last playoffs and he's built upon it in these playoffs. Third and definitely not least is Aaron Naismith. He has been absolutely amazing. We spoke about game one against the Knicks briefly already. Historical from him. The way he's been shooting from deep, absolutely amazing. He has not only shot well, he's defended very, very well, picking up sometimes the best offensive player in this series. He's gone up against the likes of Donovan Mitchell. He's gone up against the likes of Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson, and he continues to, while not being able to stop them, cause them difficulties. He's pressing from full court. He's causing a number of issues, and he's been someone that the Pacers can definitely rely on. The talent has definitely been there from his days from being drafted at the Celtics, no doubt about it. But now he's got the opportunity to shine, to blossom, and he's found definitely a good role within the Pacers. He is built for the moment. He's built for the playoffs. He can defend, he can shoot, he has the size, and the Pacers are in a much better position because of him. Next off, I want to talk about a couple of the Timberwolves, which I've been impressed by. Obviously, Anthony Edwards, how he has led his team specifically through the first round against the Lakers. That was very, very impressive. Obviously, they beat a Warriors team which was injured. Nothing to take away from the Timberwolves on how they performed. But Ant's been leading. Ant's been a dog. He has done his job. But there's two players I want to highlight, especially this first one, Julius Randle, who I think has been absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. The second option for the team, well defined who is the number one, but he has come out night after night and produced. I think he's averaging around 24, 6 and 6 if I'm not mistaken, and he's doing that off 50% shooting, 35% from free, and around 80 something percent. I think it's like 87% from the free throw line. Incredible numbers. And when you look back at the trade between the Knicks and the Timberwolves for Cat and Randall, It's one of those trades that neither team looks like they've lost. It seems like both teams have won and they got what they wanted. It will be interesting to see how both progress through this conference final stage, because this is where both were last season, and who will eventually take the step to go that element further. And I think that's still in question for both teams. Jaden McDaniel as well, I have to give him a hats off for his performance, especially in that first round. Very, very impressive. Not only is he a world-class defender, but also from what he's done with his scoring output, which is desperately needed for a Timberwolves team that if Ant's not on it, if Randall maybe has a worse shooting night, they have someone who can back them up. And we're going to have to see more of that from McDaniels if they want to get to the NBA Finals. I'm going to quickly talk about OKC as well. Main person I want to talk about out of everybody is Alex Caruso. Big game player. You can see the championship DNA within him. You can see why he won with the Lakers. Absolutely, he's an absolute pest on defense. You can see the way he disrupted Joker in that game 7. There was no rest for Joker, and that's because Alex Caruso is such a dog. He's gonna work, he's gonna fight, he's not gonna let any possession be easy. He's gonna get those steals. He is essentially going to conduct that defense very, very well, and he's surrounded by long, lengthy players who support him, and they all have that identity of gritty, tough defense. And again, got to give my hats off to them. Got to give my hats off to Caruso. They are boarding and they're looking like a team to be reckoned with through the remainder of these playoffs. Shy, we already know MVP has been balling out as well. Consistency, that's what you need. You need to know what you're going to get from your star players, and he delivers night on night on night. Very, very impressed with him as well. Going back to the Knicks very quickly, Jalen Brunson's been leading. I wouldn't call him a necessary riser. I think we've kind of been accustomed to this is who Jalen Brunson is, but specifically in that Celtics series, very, very impressive. The Pistons series as well, he's been an absolute dog, leading, I think, points scored in the playoffs. He continues to go at it night after night after night, and I have to give my hats off to him. The whole of New York, I have to give my hats off to. Miles McBride is another one I've been very impressed with. He has been very, very impressive. I'm going to talk about a couple of the players who have been knocked out quickly. Şengün was so good. Very impressed with him, and him having extended playoff minutes was a benefit to his development. He's shown that he's gritty, he's tough. While some players in his team, which we'll get to, failed to perform, he was not one of them. Also want to give my shout outs to Amen Thompson. Again, very, very impressive. Showed his quality and showed why potentially the Rockets should be building this franchise around him and Şengün, as opposed to some other players, which we will get to. Pistons, Cade Cunningham, he's shown it in the regular season, showed it in the playoffs. His first big opportunity in the playoffs, and he showed why he is regarded so highly. He is a dog. He pushed the Knicks in every way possible. The Pistons just need to get a bit more quality, use this experience, and see how they can take it a step further. But for Cade, he has to hold his head up high, and he continuously will be a problem in that Eastern Conference, no doubt about it. From the Magic as well, Paolo Banchero was very impressive. We will get into some of the players from the Magic who were less than desirable. Franz Wagner, again, those two did their job. They always kind of do. It's just the surrounding pieces that you need to put around them, and also looking at their play styles and where they can drive more efficiency, because I think sometimes the shot taken by those two wasn't as ideal as it could have been. And so that mesh between the two, how you want Paolo to operate, how you want France to operate, still needs to be fine-tuned. But again, hats off to those players as well, being as young as they are and balling out in the playoffs while not having a lot of offensive support as well. Going to the fallers, there's a couple of players I want to talk about. I think Tyler Hero struggled a lot. I think it was his first opportunity of being the first option in a playoff setting, and it showed why he is never going to be a number one player on a championship team. His role is potentially a role player, or but maybe a third option, if that. No offense to him. I think trying to get away with that play style and lack of efficiency, especially in the playoffs, is not going to work, and it's not a recipe for success. And I think the most damning thing that happened to him was when Darius Garland, called out his shocking defense and said he's a cone. That to me is something that no opposition player should be able to get away with saying that against you. But in reality, he was a cone. He was literally getting passed by each and every time, and they were targeting him. And that's something that he needs to work on. And it's not an easy fix. Hard work will do a lot of the work for you, but it's going to be something that he needs to work through. And I think if Miami want to build around him, they're going to have to cover up those deficiencies very, very well. Next up, Ty Jerome. I think he was very impressive during the regular season, showed a lot of quality, a bigger guard, someone to complement the likes of Garland and Mitchell, but in the playoffs he fell off. And what we kind of identified is as his minutes goes up, his performance wanes. And so he has a sweet spot of backup minutes where you can get a good portion of Ty Jerome. But if it exceeds that portion of time, then you're in trouble. And the problem with that in playoffs is that you may need your third guard to play extended minutes. You may need your third guard, especially with the loss of Darius Garland in that series. You will need your guard to step up. And if you're not getting that, a lot of the workload will fall on Mitchell, which is less than desirable to say the least. Ty Jerome, I think a lot of questions would have been raised based on his playoff performance, because prior to this, he looked like a lock for potentially a big extension or deal when that came around. Now I have my concerns about, yes, you may be good in the regular season, but what are you going to deliver for me in the playoffs? I still have a lot of questions around that. We spoke also about the Magic previously as well. KCP, very, very, very disappointing. And I think the biggest disappointment was the lack of 3-point shooting. He was essentially brought in to provide that 3-point shooting, and that was the big piece for an Orlando. That was the big piece for an Orlando Magic team who were the worst 3-point shooting team in the league. They needed KCP to step up, and especially when they were making the series competitive against the Celtics, you needed KCP shooting. We didn't get that. We did not get KCP shooting well at all. He shot 28% from the 3-point line, and listen, that's a recipe for disaster against the Celtics. You cannot get away with your best 3-point shooter not being able to put them away. And when you're being brought into an organization specifically for that reason, yes, the defense, but Orlando is already very good defensively. You really brought him in to contribute to the attacking side, and you did not get that. I also want to talk about someone who I felt played well in periods. Scoring wise, he gave his utmost, but in terms of a leader, and concerns have to come in terms of when are you going to get your team over that level as a 1A, and that has to go for Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell, I think he performed in terms of his scoring and his effort. It was there, but there comes a point as a leader, as the number one option, is when are you going to get your team over the hump? And for him, is when are you going to get your team past the second round? Because we haven't seen them in, because we haven't seen a Donovan Mitchell led team past that round. We've seen it in Utah. We're now seeing it with the Cavs. There's a question that needs to be asked, but not only from him. I would say also, I'm looking at Jared Allen. Less than a threat. And I think when you're looking at where the Cavs need to go, what do they need to do, how can we improve, some of the eyes will undoubtedly turn to Jared Allen, because you're looking at him being an elite big man. And I didn't see that through the duration of the series. I didn't see an elite big man show his quality in the series or through the playoffs. And so that's something that definitely needs to be looked in. I'm just trying to think if there's a couple more names that we need to talk about. I think I covered the most of them. One name I nearly forgot was Jalen Green, and I have to call it out. You were not going to escape this list. Absolutely apathetic. I would be looking, if I was the Rockets, to find a way to shift him on, maybe build up some of his value in the regular season to start off with. But if not, I'm trying to get in an established scorer, because what I saw in that playoff run was horrific. He had one good game in that 7-game series, and it's essentially not good enough for a player who's working his way to a max and a bigger contract when you've got other young superstars who are showing a lot more fight, who are showing a lot more determination and quality in the bigger moments. Build around them, get a high volume scorer who doesn't deliver on the big stage. At this moment in time, he's still young, don't get me wrong, but move him on and getting an established star who can work with some of your other young players. I don't think you'll regret it. So I think those were the main player fallers and risers. A couple other people I want to give a shout out to. In terms of fallers, I would say to a degree Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Obviously, Jason Tatum was cooking the game. He got injured, but questions about their efficiency, it really wasn't there. To be honest with you, they were scoring as many points as they were taking shots. Peyton Pritchard was a riser. It, for me, really delivered. Would have liked to see him get a bit more game time, but again, he was also being exploited on the defensive end by the Knicks, with Jalen Brunson consistently attacking him when he was on the court. So then again, you've got something else to think about. For the Nuggets as well, how could I forget Aaron Gordon? Absolutely amazing performances. Fallers for the Pistons. Michael Porter Jr. not good enough. I know he was experiencing a shoulder injury, wasn't happy with that, and it's not the first time we've seen a drop of performances from him in the playoffs. He has also done really well in the playoffs as well in the past, but this wasn't one of them. Jamal Murray, I expected a lot more from him. The memes were flying around after the Nuggets got knocked out, but you can't blame people. He is a champion. He shows it, but consistently, I don't think so. If Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray show the same consistency as Nikola Jokic, they would be still in the playoffs, is what I'm trying to say. And so that level of efficiency, that level of consistency needs to be displayed by the players on the Nuggets. And so that's why there's questions about how they're going to build their core, because as Jokic said, if the core was good enough to win the playoffs, they would still be in it, but they're not. So that's another thing for them to think about. I think Julian Strawther as well for the Nuggets was really impressive in the minutes that he got. And hopefully he gets to grow and blossom with the Nuggets going forward in the future. Guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I want to hear who your playoff risers and fallers have been. I want to hear it all. I hope to talk to you guys soon. It's been EDA. Peace.